Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. Hope everybody's doing well. Wait, I believe everybody's doing well. I have faith everybody's doing well, and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again. I'm always excited. Whenever you see me, I'm going to be excited. I am excited because I feel great and I'm alive. And again, I'm doing what I'm here to do. And that's talk to engage in beautiful, amazing, enlightening dialogues with extraordinary people from around the world. And today is no different. Today I want to make sure I say this right. Dhyan?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
So we'll just stop right there. But when you look in the description, you can see the complete unfoldment of all she is, all this amazing person is. And before she tells you anything about herself and her passions and shares her wisdom and all that, I'm going to say just a little bit about her. She has such an extensive, very amazing, extraordinary bio here that you can't really sum this up. But when you see this, when you watch this video and look in the description, I want you to read it all because it's amazing. Now, Dhyan offers one-to-one sessions, Darshan, and she's going to tell us about that because I'm that's standing out to me right now. And training and assistance with ancestral healing. Sessions include transference of energy that unlock light codes of awakening in your DNA, cellular memory. Wow, that's amazing. And wow, she feels that her path alone, walking along this journey of hers, with only her mind as a partner, okay? Meeting and being in person with who express all that she had been longing to hear penetrated deep into her heart. I'm going to stop there because just so much. And I want to, as I read this, I kind of want to read it to myself. That's how amazing it is. And I know you have been meditating. Dhyan has been meditating for over 35 years. She discovered meditation as a young child, living on a commune in Oregon and that's in the US, with an enlightened master now known as Osho. I know who Osho is, and that's amazing. Experienced her first awakening at 6. She was then able to integrate this while she spent time on the ranch through her daily practice of meditation and living freedom. I'm going to stop there because I can just keep scrolling down and I'm going to want to say more. How are you doing today, Dhyan?
I'm great, thank you. I'm really
Right.
happy to be here.
Now, what does that name mean? Again, you just explained this to me prior, but
my name, it means meditation.
Means meditation. And that's something I do daily and didn't even know that. So that's amazing. So let's just get right into it. How did you, I mean, you say it here in your amazing bio, but how did all this unfold that you have found this purpose in your life? I mean, what led up to it? I mean, you connected with Osho. That enough tells me that your journey is amazing, as everyone's journey is amazing and unique, by the way. But right now we're here to talk about you. Can you just kind of give us a peek inside of how this unfolded as to who you are today?
I'll do my best. So as a young child, I was very aware. I was very aware that I didn't fit in, that I felt different. And when I was 6, I was being bullied at school. And I fell into a space of, I was really upset because I was being bullied.
Right.
Kids were being nasty. I got really upset, I got angry, and I moved to another part of the playground. And as I did so, I noticed that the wind around me, and it felt very comforting. And I began to have an experience of being a part of everything. Wow. So as the wind moved around me, I felt like it was caressing my troubles, my worries, my upset, my anger, everything. And I also experienced looking up at the sky that I was part of the sky and the clouds. And I had this moment of recognizing that there was some magic within me, which is within all of us, and a
Right,
recognition that I was part of nature and that
right,
nature was a part of me, and that there was this symbiotic connection going on. I was only 6 at the time, so as you can imagine, it was very much like being, just having an experience of being in magic. Because at that age, you don't have the way to explain what's going on. You just
right,
have the experience, and you're really full in the experience of it. And it
right.
was so
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes, I would have thought that that would be. I could imagine myself at 6 years old. I know everyone's different, but I would have think I would have been a bit confused and afraid, maybe like as what am I experiencing here? But there was something inside of you that connected with what was going on, and it actually comforted you.
Absolutely.
Right,
Yeah, it was the biggest comfort that I've ever felt.
right,
And being so small and feeling so upset and having that experience of connection and calm from the breeze and the wind around me, everything fell still. So it was
right.
like everything, and there was so much stillness and so much silence, and the connection just soothed me from the inside out. I was completely soothed, and I felt so much better. And I can't really remember much after that, but that's kind of the memory that I have on that particular day, and it stayed with me. Um, so yeah,
Yes, if I may elaborate a bit on um, your experience, especially as a child, I resonate with that uh, very much because I moved around to a lot of different schools. I was very small in stature and often went through that very same thing. I always seemed to attract, at that time, someone that saw me as weak and basically wanted to make my life miserable. So, yeah, I got pushed on, hit on, and I was afraid. I wasn't at that point an aggressive person. I was more of a person that wanted to just be friends and really docile. So yeah, it really it was torment for a while, for me to go through those things, but now in looking back, I suppose, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen for me to be aware for some reason and be an advocate, especially against such a thing, because I would not want anyone, I don't, if I even am made aware in any kind of way, that some child or anybody that's going through that, I feel it's my duty to try to help, even if it's not my child. Or I just, yes, that right there, I just, wow, because I know how much it's how damaging that is, and to your soul, your mind, to go through those experiences. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it certainly is. So you, from 6 years old, you already knew that there's something different. And let me ask you this. How did your family, or did you hide this? I mean, how did your family and people around you, friends, take, you know, who you were, and, this awareness that you had already? I mean, was it something that was just hidden, or, I mean, what happened?
Well, I was quite unusual as a child. I went through a lot of different things, and this is probably very beneficial to share for other people.
Okay.
I couldn't read, at the
Right.
usual age where people can read. I couldn't read properly. I couldn't see the words. And I was diagnosed with dyslexia very early on as well. So not only was I bullied, and this may very well have been part of that, but I was removed from the class and taken to another room to learn in a different way. And so that didn't help my confidence, and it didn't help with the bullying.
Right. I can imagine. Wow.
um,
Wow. Yes.
and as well as this, I'd actually experienced some physical abuse as well as a very young child. So all of these things obviously began to build a picture of who I was going to become and how my life was going to pan out and transform.
Right.
So from a very young age, I had a very low opinion of myself,
Right.
and I didn't have much confidence. I was very yeah, I just didn't have the confidence that I needed to have, and I didn't believe that I was worthy either. I
Right.
didn't feel that I was worthy. I felt like everything was my fault a lot of
Right.
the time. And so this was a pattern for me as a young child.
As the
And then
same
when I
with me
was,
too.
very interesting how
I'm
this
resonating
often
with your
happens.
story. And now I'm knowing, look, excuse me for cutting you off because I want you to continue your flow. But it just, it's so beautiful. And it never ceases to amaze me that we attract people in our lives. We attract what's going on. And just as you're telling this story, I mean, I'm sincere about this. Wow, I can see a lot of it's jogging back a lot of memories about what I experienced as a child. Not exactly the same, but along those same lines. And we were in two different places, two different ages, and we're going through this, you know. And you said something even prior to even sharing that with us, that somebody out there is you know, going to be able to relate to what you're saying. A lot of people are, you know, and here you are talking to the host, and I'm relating to exactly what you're saying because uh, for the longest time, I didn't think myself as anything. You know, I don't know. I don't want to blame anything or anyone, but just to put a long story short, yeah, it took a while before even until like a few years ago till I really began to experience what it really means to love yourself. And most of my life, I didn't love myself at all. So, you know, and I went through a lot of those experiences, abuse, um, the same. So I'm resonating with what you're saying thus far. Wow. Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
ironic how you just meet people from different walks of life and they share similar um, experiences, you know. Wow. It's just, wow. Thank you for sharing what you've shared thus far. Thank you.
I also appreciate you sharing that too. Thank you.
Yeah, it's yeah. Not to dwell on it, but you know, now I use it, you know, as energy to grow and be aware, and you know, not to feel sorry for myself any longer or say I don't have any control over my circumstances or anything like that. My life is beautiful and I'm embracing it one day at a time. Now I express gratitude all the time, you know, and I have a lot to express gratitude for. And I'm not saying just as far as like materialistically, I'm talking about balance and peace and harmony within myself and finding my purpose and just being happy for what people would think no reason, you know. So
Mhm.
it's amazing, and just working on myself and learning uh, new things every day, and just encountering new just people, you know, such as yourself on a regular basis, and that's just that's not coincidental, and it's like by design. It's wow, it's amazing, and I never this right here, the peace that I have within myself now is something that can't be easily taken away. You know, it's regardless of the economy, what's going on around the world. This it's mine, or it's connected. So beautiful.
Very, very
Yeah.
beautiful.
So, you know, I read a lot in your bio. You have degrees and uh, you have practices and programs. Can you tell us more about what programs you have now that you've developed or part of, or what you do?
I've done so many different things. I run events. I had a period of running events for 5.5 years, where I
Right,
brought in different teachers of all kinds of modalities and brought people together locally. I did that for 5.5 years,
right,
and then I had a break, and I really focused on my healing.
right,
And then now I'm running events again, and I'm
right.
also speaking at different events as well, and offering my healing at different events, and
Wow.
sharing in presence with one-to-ones with people. So I help people connect with the deepest part of themselves, that deep silence and that deep place of peace within. I help to guide people into that, so that they can live from that space um, instead of suffering with the
Right,
mind.
right,
And it's a practice. It doesn't, it's not the end solution.
right,
It's like when we talk about enlightenment, there isn't an end solution. It's a continuous unfolding of the being and a continuous expansion of what we are. And
exactly.
even when we decide what we're going to do, when we feel guided to do something and we follow that guidance, that doesn't mean to say that we're going to just do that. There may be another unfolding and then another unfolding, and so on and so on. And
Right,
I found this with my own life. I started doing one thing, and then, hey presto, I'm not doing that at all. I go
right.
down this other route, because when I was 21, I was actually studying to do a degree in fashion, and that
Wow.
was where my heart was.
Right. How
And
did you look?
yeah,
How did that dissipate out of your experience? You just stopped.
well, exactly. I when I was I've lived in lots of different places, and I've
Right.
been to lots of different schools. I lived in France for 2 years, just outside Paris, and went to school in Paris, which was a
Wow.
fantastic experience.
So many
I,
experiences.
yeah, really, my life is full. It's a very unusual life, which I guess that feeling when I was really small of I'm different and I don't fit in, my
Right.
life has kind of showed me that in a lot of ways with my
Right.
experiences. So,
That's so again, how did you end up
yeah,
losing that fashion bug? You just
well, it was really ingrained in me because I'm actually an artist as well, so I paint. And so
right,
I was following the painting and the textile course. So I did a textile course when I was 18, and then I got ill and had to leave. And then I decided to go back to fashion when I was 21.
right,
And I got in with my old work, which was amazing. They just gave me a place.
right,
I settled in. I thought, right, this is what I'm here to do. This is the way forward. And all this time I had this calling to heal. And I'd been a healer from a very young age as well. I used to fix my mum's back and neck, and if she got a headache, I could make it go away and this kind of thing.
wow,
And it
wow,
was
lucky mother.
so natural to me.
Yes,
I didn't see it as something special because it
yes.
was just how I
It's just who
was.
you are, who you've
Yeah. And
always been.
so, yeah.
Yes,
So what happened was when I was on the fashion course, there just came a time when I had a calling, and I couldn't explain it to anybody, not my teacher, not the course leaders, nobody. I didn't know. I just had this calling that I needed to leave. So I left, and I went to live in a place called Nottingham. I was living in Derby, doing fashion in
Nottingham.
Derby.
Yeah, I've heard of Nottingham in the movies, in the Robin Hood.
Yeah, Nottingham. Yes, it's that Nottingham, funny enough. So I
Yes,
moved there, and the reason that this calling was happening, as I found out and discovered later, was because I was to meet my ex and have my son. And had I not left at that time, my life wouldn't have unfolded in those ways. So that was a necessary thing. And
Right.
this is really something that I want to share, is when you feel that calling, even if you don't know what it's about and you can't explain it to anyone, it's so important that you really follow your heart, follow your truth.
Right.
And
Right.
don't let
Absolutely.
anyone persuade you otherwise, and don't let anyone else or anything else override your own intuition and your own wisdom, because we all
Right.
have that within us, and it's so important to follow it.
Right. And it can be, I'm not going to say it will be, it can be a task to do that because of the influences and people around you. And I believe that in my perspective, my experience, that most of the time they don't mean any harm. It's just they're used to, following a certain narrative. And when you step outside of that, that makes them uncomfortable as well. So they might try to hinder or deter you from following your passion. I had that in my experience where, where I started to see things in different ways. And I was, I can tell by the reaction that it made those closest to me um, uncomfortable, and they they perceived it as something negative. Or oftentimes when people don't understand something, they put a negative label or stigma attached to it, because they don't understand, they don't know,
Mm.
so yes, it is very important to, no matter what you face and your own fears and your own, um, get out of your own way, basically, get out of that, what's comfortable, what you feel has always been done. So, but follow your, what you, exactly what you said. So follow your intuition, follow those questions that are lingering inside of you. There's a reason they're there, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. And oftentimes we push them down because we don't think they're the right questions to ask, or it's going against what you know we know,
Mm.
or what is accepted. So amazing. So you work with people now, and can you explain some of the ways you work with people? I mean, I see it in your bio, or make sure we put up, but just while we're here, what are some of the things you help people to incorporate into their lives, or overcome, or whatever it may be?
So my journey with well, I started my journey with Reiki, um, and that was when I was 21. I began my journey with Reiki, and I did the Reiki 1,
Right.
and a year later I did the Reiki 2, and then
Right.
I actually excuse me, I actually took 10 years out, and 10 years later I did my Reiki Masters.
Right.
And because at each stage in my life, between a Reiki 1 and the Reiki 2, there was a lot of learning that happened and a lot of experience that shifted in my life. And in that 10 years, as you can imagine, there was a huge amount that transformed. And I went from working um, in retail
Right.
to having my son. Just going to take a drink, sorry.
No, we have as much time as you need. I want to listen. I'm listening.
To working in retail, to then going, back into fashion and doing my Reiki, and then lots of life after I had my son when he was 18 months. We found ourselves homeless. My relationship fell apart. I was homeless with a young 18-month-old, nowhere to live, no money, nothing at all. Um, and so that was, I had a dark night of the soul experience. I'm losing my voice.
Oh no, that's okay. Take your time. Take your time. Yes. So I can't imagine how that would be, especially a mother with a life to take care of and no place to go. Is like, what what am I gonna do? You know?
Yeah, I followed the sort of natural options were to um, possibly move near my sisters or with a friend. So I followed all these options, but nothing was working. And in the end, I ended up coming back to my place of birth after many years of living in lots of different places and living abroad with my 18-month-old son. And he just became the focus of my life.
Right.
And I can say categorically, I think this is quite emotional, which is probably another reason why I'm
Okay.
struggling to
Yeah.
speak.
We can shift the subject. We can shift it. We can shift it. So yeah, I can picture what's the thing is, fast forward, you're here now and things unfolded for you. And
Yeah,
yeah, um,
things unfolded in incredible ways,
right,
actually.
right,
Incredible ways, because I went from living with my partner and my son and not doing any meditation, not doing any of my spiritual work at all,
right, right,
to living with my son on our own, focusing on him for a good few
right,
years. He just had all my attention. I didn't do
right,
anything else really.
right,
To one day finding myself meditating in my middle room at my old house, bless that
right.
house. And the sun came streaming through the window. And in the meditation, I had this realization that there was more to life than what I was living, and that actually that it was a time for me to start to make changes in my life.
Absolutely.
And a while later, I had in 2012, I had another meditation experience after really getting back into it, because I have been meditating on and off for 35 years now.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's a long time, right?
Yes.
And what happened was, in the meditation, I was given information. That's something I will share actually, because I think it's really important.
Okay.
People often think that meditation is just about stopping thoughts
Right.
and,
Right.
sitting there stopping thoughts, uh, putting a lot of effort into stopping thoughts, which,
Thoughts.
as we
Yes.
know, just
Yes.
makes
Making
them
your mind go blank. Yeah.
even more. So
Yes.
it has the opposite effect.
Right.
But
You
there are many
receive as well.
purposes.
Yeah.
Yes, there are
Right.
many purposes to meditation.
Right.
And the main purpose of meditation, I would say from my own experience, is to find a peace within the being, find your inner peace, but also it is to open up to the wisdom of the universe. Because what happens when we allow ourselves to completely stop and go into that still space, and it does take practice, it's kind of
Right.
an irony there, because
Right.
you practice until you no longer practice, and because it is a natural state of being. And what's happened is society, our experiences, life, trauma, all these things kind of rip us away from that natural state of peace. And
Exactly.
so then we spend the rest of our lives trying to get back
Trying to
to
get
that
back there.
original state. Yeah, just and we actually believe that it's something that we need to try to get back to, when it's what we are, but there's a covering with our minds, because our minds get so busy, they cover the peace, the natural state that is already what we are. So
Wow.
meditation is to bring us into remembering our natural state of being, which is peace, and
Yes.
opening up to the wisdom of the universe so that we can allow that to flow through us. And it literally flows through our crown chakra down into our body, and we process it and we
Right.
get inspiration. This is where our desires, our ideas, our creation comes from, our want to create and build.
Right.
So in this particular meditation, I was given the word seed, and I was told that I needed to start a group. So, and I felt that this came from God. It was a very clear channel from God. I had already asked God to help me with my life many years previously,
Right.
and dedicated my life to God, to helping people understand themselves and heal themselves. That was what I pledged. Obviously, not knowing how that would look or what that would unfold like, or any of the details.
Right.
It was something that happened. So,
Absolutely.
from this meditation and given these words, I created my groups. And the groups grew and the events grew. And as I was saying earlier on, I brought in lots of different people, and I actually had people come from all over the world. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was, it wasn't successful in a monetary sense, but it
Right.
was very successful in bringing people together and
Right.
creating a space of harmony, meditation, learning, expansion. Many people from my groups went on to do completely different things and
Right.
follow their hearts. And I
Yes.
do
That's
believe that group gave people that confidence and the inspiration and encouragement to go and do that. So it was like a butterfly effect. You create something. It doesn't have to be a huge group, but you create something. You create a container of love and holding and presence. And in that space, people grow and they fall into more of themselves. They experience more of who they are, and they expand into that as a continuous process, as I mentioned earlier as
yes. I
well.
can I can totally resonate with what you said, and it's not a coincidence that you just mentioned something that I just I had a show prior to this one, okay? And one of the main points that we collectively were making is that, and you said these things, I couldn't have rehearsed this about people, about us forgetting who we are, and oftentimes people are looking for the happiness and the peace. Everybody's looking for that, but outside somewhere. They
Yes,
think they're getting it in if they acquire this, and then they feel like they're under the illusion that they're happy for a while because they got this new car. Okay, it can enhance happiness. Okay, yeah, but then back to where you were. Um, a trip, and you're back to where you were. So basically, yeah, what you said is just amazing, and the point that you made about creating your groups, and I can resonate that with that as well, even in regards to this platform, because thus far it's not super huge or anything like that, but this is coming from my words. It's doing its part um, in waking up, helping to wake up people and to bring enlightenment and empowerment and helping people and sharing people different people around the world, highlighting their unique experiences and gifts and passions and purposes, and bringing that to people. And little by little, even if it's just one person, somebody's going to resonate with what you said, and it's going to change their life. That right there is the real value to me. I'm not interested. Yes, I want prosperity in all aspects of my life, and I feel at this moment I have it. Um, at the same time, just knowing that I'm connected with what I'm meant to be doing, with my purpose and my passion, and connecting and learning who I truly am is the real wealth to me, you know. So that's amazing. And it is, and it's something that, like I said, you can't take that away, you know. So no matter what scenery in the matrix that changes, I'm still here like this, because I know who I am, and I'm learning more and more who I am and how to be who I am and connect with God and source and just my intuition and everything. So that right there is a sustained happiness that can't be no one, no situation, no monetary things can remove from my experience, So It is with this. Yeah. So that's awesome. So that's great. How did you end up going over to, wait a minute. Oh, I wanted to ask you this. How did you end up in Oregon and connecting with Osho? How did that happen? Because I read a lot of Osho. So how did that happen? That's amazing experience. And how was that
Yeah,
experience?
quite extraordinary. Well, what happened was it kind of happened through my mum, really. So my mum was very keen on yoga, and she met somebody in her yoga class who introduced her to, well, he was then known as Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. That was his name back in the 80s. And she decided to go over to Oregon and experience what it was like to live there for, I think she went for a week. And then when she came back, my dad really wanted to go. So we ended up going as a family,
Wow.
which was amazing.
Wow.
And we were there for 3 months. And it was a time of integration for me,
Right.
because my experience when I was younger, it kind of helped me to solidify that and bring that together.
Right. Wow. So
And
go
yeah,
ahead.
so for me, it was a really beautiful experience.
Right.
We did have some kind of drama in the family, which was very intense. My sister ended up having to have an operation there
Oh, wow.
that saved her life.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was quite traumatic in a way. And then we came back to the UK. But I do know now that many people had, because it was such a big community, many people had lots of different experiences. And
Right.
not all those experiences were what we would consider to be good or what we would want for ourselves.
Right.
So I don't think we can paint it as a utopia that it kind of probably has been painted as in some ways. But I think I do fully believe in my heart that the intention of it was good from the beginning. But
Right.
it's the same with any community. When you have a community and you have a spiritual leader, there are egos that get into positions of power, and things can kind of deteriorate quite
Right.
quickly.
Right.
And that's not to blame anybody, because I think it served its purpose,
Right.
as these things often do. But as a warning to anybody that might be watching this, be very careful if you're following a spiritual teacher, me included. Just be very careful and very aware. And if something doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Right.
And don't presume that because somebody is a spiritual teacher that they are more than human, that they are better than you or anybody else, because the
Absolutely.
chances are they also have their foibles, they also have their dark side, and
Right.
they are human to their core. So just to be aware of that,
Right.
because there's this trap that we can fall into when we're following somebody, that we can follow them very blindly. And what the purpose of the spiritual teacher is to encourage, to inspire, to
Right.
empower,
Right.
and to be a light so that you can see your own light.
Own. Right. Thank you. Thank
Not
you.
so that you worship them as the light.
Right.
It's very
Right.
important that you recognize it's about you seeing yourself, the truth of yourself in the other, which is often
Right.
what the spiritual teacher is there for, as a mirror to show you um, who you
Thank you.
are.
Thank you for clarifying that and for articulating that in the way you did. Because yes, there's I forget to say that, but that very same dialogue and narrative has been brought to my attention to remind people that as well. Because and it also keeps me grounded no matter where I am. I'm not here to uh, make people think or show people that I have some type of power that they don't have, but basically to point the way and to be an encouragement and inspirer And that's what this platform is based on too, to
Mm.
inspire and help wake up people within themselves. And like I said earlier, my earlier mindset was that of being powerless and dependent on this other person that was put in this position, with the understanding at the time, thinking that they were the person that has all the power, and I have to kind of some kind of way fit in underneath. Like, no, I don't ever want to feel that way again, nor will I. Now I know too much to feel that way. And if I can help other people to know that, no, you don't have to feel that way, and that's not the way a true spiritual leader would want you to feel, that you're not empowered as much as they are, right? Yes.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm always setting examples, saying that, hey, I go through adversities. I have my, I just say that I'm better equipped to flow with it now. But things still happen. I'm not at this pinnacle of where nothing ever disheartening or uncomfortable ever happens. No, not at all. But I'm still making the choice to to be happy and to be at peace, and to, when I'm even shifted off that a bit, to get back on, get back in alignment as soon as quickly as possible, and to know how to focus my mind to get there, and to stay there. So yes, so it's amazing. I thank you very much for coming on today and sharing your beautiful experiences. Now, how do people, do you have a website, or how do people connect with you, or to seek,
Yes.
your information, or your service, anything? How can they do that?
Yes, I do. So my website is www.dhyanG.org, and
Yes.
I'm just in the process again, because every so often, I find that I have to update something, and so I'm just updating it. So I think you'll find it in a good place.
Okay. Yes. And
So
and
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
it's okay. And I was also going to say, people can connect with me on Facebook, Dhyan G. You can follow my page, which is Dhyan Awakening Love, and message me there if you want to. I do work with people globally, so that is how I work quite often,
Right.
with people all over the world,
Right.
as and when I'm called to. So I'm very open to that. And I wanted to share one more thing, actually, that
Yes.
has just come to
Absolutely.
me that I feel
Share
is
two more
really
things if you
important.
like. Go ahead. Yes.
So it's about emotions. So we're all emotional beings, and often our experiences create a lot of emotion in the body. And specifically, if we've experienced trauma, then we end up with stored emotion in the body that will come out at specific times when we get triggered by other experiences or more trauma, for example.
Right.
And many people find it difficult to manage their emotions, and this is what creates a cycle of addiction, is when we're unable to feel our feelings and allow them. So we suppress them, and this is also something that society does teach us to do, which is why many people do it. So we suppress our emotions, and then we look to different things: drugs, alcohol, sex, various ways to push down our emotions so that we don't have to feel what we're feeling, because people feel that it will overtake them and they won't be able to cope.
Right.
So what I want to share is, this is something that I help people to understand, is how to go into their emotions, which might sound very simple, and in a way it is actually very simple.
Right.
So whenever you're feeling something, to stop everything else that you're doing, to sit down and to allow yourself to process that emotion fully. So
Right.
if it's sadness, allow yourself to feel that sadness with your whole being and to cry it out as much as you need to. If it's anger, often acting on it's not the best thing, but to be able to sit with it and just to feel what's going on. So don't suppress your anger either. It's very important.
Wow. Yes.
As and we can end up with stored anger in the body from different experiences too, and that can be quite destructive for ourselves, because what happens is we tend to, when we don't process our anger, we turn that anger on ourselves,
Right.
and we beat ourselves up mentally,
Right.
emotionally. The way we speak to ourselves becomes a way of, well, we end up being our own abusers in actual fact. So we continue the pattern of our experience.
Wow.
So learning to be able to sit with any emotion, whatever it might be, and even if you don't know what it is, maybe you have a wave of something come over you and you don't know what that feeling is, and maybe it just feels really uncomfortable, to just be able to sit and to feel and to close your eyes if necessary and move away from any other distractions is such a powerful way for you to master your emotions, instead of being, at the beck and call of whenever there's something there that you are discombobulated.
Right.
And it
Right.
just helps, and because one of the biggest things I think with spirituality, or pop spirituality is probably a good way to say it,
Right. Right.
it is to suppress the way you feel, oh, that happened then, never mind, who cares? It was 10 years ago. You don't need to deal with that. It's not happening now. But
Right.
obviously, this is bypassing, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous for the person, because whoever is experiencing something, they need to be able to experience it fully, whatever's going on in the body.
Right.
Sensations, emotions, feelings, pain, whatever it might be. So it's very detrimental to push away those feelings, because what happens is you make them much bigger, and then they become a mountain.
Right.
By ignoring and suppressing, they then become much bigger than they were to start with. And the key to this is remembering that you are the space of presence, the space of peace. Might not feel like it a lot of the time, but you are the space of peace that is big enough to hold all emotion. So your emotions that you experience are moving through you, and you can use dance, meditation, you know, beating up a cushion if you need to, screaming, shouting, whatever you need to do to process and allow those emotions through your system, through your body. And when you really learn to do this, it's just so helpful with life in general, because then you can move from experience to experience without completely being overtaken by what's going on around you, and keeping a balance. I know it's hard for many of us to keep a balance, but this is
Right.
one of the
Right.
ways that you can really cultivate
Right.
that balance and that peace within yourself.
Right. That's something that I work on every day. And like you say, cultivating it is, I try not to tell myself that it's hard, but at the same time, it is a process. I can say that. So
Absolutely.
exactly. And wow, that's beautiful, beautiful the way you orchestrated that. Thank you, because that's something I believe, from my perspective, that everybody can connect with. Because, like you said, one key thing that you said that linked to what you just said, is even these spiritual leaders that we look up to. They're human as
Yeah.
well. So it's like we all have, um, you know, can use, what you just talked about. So
Mm.
even those that are awake or conscious or whatever, we all, are working on staying, balanced, you know, and connect. Yes. So that's beautiful. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, being here today and sharing all your amazing, just wisdom and awareness and love and enlightenment. And wow, I appreciate you very much just being here today and speaking with me. And again, I have to say, I just know that It's no coincidence that you're here and that we're speaking today in this moment. And the amazing thing is that this moment right here is solidified right here and in history, right here on this platform. We can watch this and it'll be out in the universe for years to come, and amazing. So people can look back 100 years from now and say, wow, look what they were talking about. Wow. So it's amazing. Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much. Yes. And I look forward to, possibly speaking with you again in the future, in the near future. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And wow. And look for this and read the description when this video is uploaded, and look at her links and look her up. Thank you very much.
So much.
Yes, absolutely. You're very welcome. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, balance, healthiness to everyone. Thank you. May it continuously circulate in all areas of your life. Thank you very much. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. See you soon.
Bye.